Hey guys, today I want you making some cinemagraphs. If you haven't seen them before, they are kind of a combination of a video and photograph. You're essentially going to be taking a video today of something that is subtly moving. So for example, here we have this dress kind of blowing in the wind. You're going to take that as a video and we're going to take it into Photoshop and overlay a screenshot from that video so that it becomes static and just rub out the area that you want to make visible. So for an example of that, I'm just going to jump into Photoshop. Here's one of the examples that I was working on for this video, and you can see I've got the screenshot of the video here. That's static, that doesn't move. If I hide the video file itself, you can see that I've taken that static image and I've rubbed out that section that I want to be visible, and my video is just going to play behind that. Okay, so if I were to just press play real quick, my video is just where the water is tipping out, or the liquid is tipping out. Another example of this, if I show you one that I did with Emily, there we go. So in this instance, I've just erased a section of the hair to show that movement. If this were a normal video, it should be blinking, facial expression might change, hand will be moving. So a cinemagraph works best when you've got something that would generally be frozen. I'll show you some other examples. There's the drinks one. Like this one, for example, this could just be a video. There's not really much in the image or video that would move. There's only this one person here that could just stand still for the duration of this car going past. So for your cinemagraphs, try and choose something that would be moving and you could tell that it's been frozen. So like this, for example, where the woman will be blinking, facial expression will be changing, she'll be blowing the candles out. So you can very clearly see that this image has been frozen and they've just kind of cut out that section there. Okay, so you could do something with candles if you wanted to, but you'd have to wait till it's a little bit darker, obviously. There is a common problem with this that you might run into is if it's moving too much. This isn't too bad, but you can see the little arms wiggling away there. They've just tried to match that up as best they can. I did one that didn't work as well. I think it's this one. Yes, you can see if you focus here and I press play again, you can see the can moves a bit too much and wobbles. It's because I was holding it in my hand and it's just shaking around the place. I'm not very still. So on my second attempt, I rested it on the glass itself, resting my hand on the wall here, and then poured it in. I tried to move as little as possible, so when I tipped it up just to get more out again, I tried to stay relatively still a little bit after. It's like there you could see it doesn't move too much, the can doesn't. Yeah, so I could just take that little bit, and we are literally going to take a few seconds of footage and loop it essentially. So you can take a relatively long video like I have here. Where's Emily's original? There you go. This was a couple of seconds long, had a few attempts, so here's attempt one, and that's the one I actually used. But if I wasn't happy with that, I could try this one. Essentially all I was doing was putting the camera on, getting a book and just wafting some air in her face. So when you take your videos, make sure you're on a tripod. Make sure the movement is very minimal, just to help you out in the editing process. See what you can do. I haven't really got access to much. You might be the same, so it might just be a drink and any one of these. So like this one, for example, that could just be a video because nothing in that shot would be moving other than the things that are. So be very tactful about what you choose to freeze and keep moving. Okay, so I'll put this link in for you to have a look through as well. But if you want to Google some more, they're called Cinemagraphs. Okay, let's jump into Photoshop. we're going to work on the one of Emily. So same way you would an image, you just drag your file into Photoshop or File Open. Emily's original video into Photoshop. When you're working on videos in Photoshop, you'll get this timeline come up. You can make it bigger or smaller depending on what you've got in there. It has got the audio track on, but I've just turned audio off by clicking the speaker icon. So then we're just working on the video footage itself. So if I drag this slider along, the little blue part, you can click and drag that, and you can quickly skim through your footage. So I can get to a place where I can see, yeah, actually the face is pretty still there, so I could use that frame. And then straight after, we've got a little bit of hair movement. So let's go back to that. Just before the hair starts to move, I'm going to leave this line exactly in that point. What I'm going to do is click the scissors, and that will split our footage. And I'm going to go along until the movement finishes. You can see she has moved her face a little bit, so I have to try and work around that. That's her trying not to laugh. You might have some more serious models. And then I'm going to just split it again with the scissors. So now this little chunk in the middle, that's what I'm going to be using. So for now I can highlight that first section and hit delete. Highlight that second section and hit delete. So now I'm just working on this. So when I press spacebar, it loops that for me so I can have a little preview. Okay, so I can see the head move down a little bit, facial expression changes, but I'll try and use that anyway. Hit spacebar again and we can carry on editing. What we need to do now is select a frame to copy. So this is going to be the overall kind of front to your image. So get to a section that you think is good. So I don't want that bit in between where she's moving the lip. I could go for that, which I think I did in the other one, but I'll go for one at the start this time. So go for that at the start. Okay, so I'm going to grab my marquee tool, click and drag over the whole frame. I'm going to press Command C, or if you're on Windows, Control C for copy, or edit and copy. And then I'm going to click over here. I'm just going to collapse that video group for a second, click off onto my layers and make a new layer. Okay, and then I'm going to paste it in. So that's Command V, Control V, or edit and paste. So now you can see in our little timeline, we've got our layer 1, which is our image. I'll just rename that image. You can see it's a little bit longer than our footage, so I'm just going to drag that back in just by clicking the end and dragging it in. If I press spacebar again just to preview it, now nothing at all moves. Okay, stop that for a second. So with that over the top, we can't see our footage, so we just need to erase a section to show through that video. So what I'm going to do is go to my image in the layers. I'm going to click on add layer mask down at the bottom. I'm going to grab a paintbrush and I'm going to flip between black and white to delete. So as you know, black will delete. I want a fairly soft brush initially just to see what I'm working with, and I'm going to rub out this section of hair. Okay, so let's make my brush a little bit bigger. Zoom in a little bit. And just very quickly rub out that section. So now you can see that's popped up in my quick mask. If I press spacebar, it gives me a little preview of that hair moving. Okay, so not too bad. If I wanted both sides, because both sides of her head does move, make sure I'm still on that layer mask and rub out that section as well. Spacebar. but we're not so good on the right hand side, so that means I'm going to have to go up into this section, and that's a little bit better. Obviously you can zoom in, make your brush harder, smaller, and take a little bit more time on it. So that's not too bad. You can see a little bit here that I could rub out more of, but for now that's looking okay. Okay, so once I've done that and you're happy with it, we're going to go and export it as a GIF. So I'm going to go to File, I'm going to Export, and I'm going to click on Save for Web with Legacy in brackets. So as you move down, we're going to select GIF, and generally the default settings are what we're going to keep. For a GIF, it's 256 colors is the max, so we'll keep that there. We don't want any lossy. Here's the image size, so that's 1080p. Leave this the same as well. And this one you might want to change, so generally GIFs animate forever, like the loop just keeps on going on. So instead of once, just click forever and then click save. So I'll leave the title as the same so you can have a look at it in a second, and the original video. Click save, and again this might take a while in case the file size is a bit bigger. Okay, let's have a quick look. Okay, so there is a little jump, or it doesn't go back to original position, so I'd have to go back in and change that. Let's go on to this one. This one took a little bit more in terms of editing, just because the level of the water is going to raise up. So if I just show you how little I had to kind of erase on that one. If I hide this video file again, you can see I had to go in really close to the edge of where that liquid was coming into the glass. This bit was fine, it was literally just that bit in the glass, so all I'm showing is that small area where the liquid's going into the center, and just leaving enough space for the liquid to go past. And again, that was just making the brush harder and making sure that I was just being a little bit more precise. If your computer does start to struggle, it is because I'm recording the screen as well. But if it does, just close some of your windows, just have Photoshop open and use it that way. A lot of this is going to be down to how you take your footage. Bit of trial and error. Just make sure you're using a tripod. Make sure you try a few different sequences so that when you get to edit, you don't have to jump back up to the camera, take the footage again, which you may have to, but try and do everything you can to get that footage first time. Premise is very simple, just putting a image over a video and rubbing out the bit that you want to see. So hopefully that was straightforward for you, and I covered everything. Let me know in the comments as always if you've got any questions.